What's up guys, this is Tech Guy Tony, and for this video I'm going to install a centOS 7 Linux with a manual partitioning. Alright, so these are the partitions that we will need to install our centOS Linux, and we will also set a manual or static IP address, set the host name. Alright, things right here you can do right after the installation, or you can do it later. Things right here you need to do during the installation, and it will be tricky if you're going to adjust the sizing of that partition right after the installation. Alright, so let's go ahead and create our virtual machine. So I hope you guys already watched my separate video on how to use this VirtualBox. Right, so if you haven't watched it yet, please click subscribe and look for that video tutorial. Alright, so just select your region, and since we're in the Philippines, let's choose Philippines. Here's the exciting part. We're going to set our IP address static, so let's just click this one, network and host name, then turn this button on. As you can see, it gives us a dynamic IP address, so let's change that. Just click on configure and then go to IPv4 settings, and then change this one to manual. Alright, and click add. Alright, then you have to define your static IP address. So we need to add our DNS server so that it will have an internet connection. Alright, you can just use comma if you want to add more DNS. Alright, so that's it, and then let's click save. So we now have a static IP address. Then we can change our hostname right here. Alright, so say demo that, let's say Tech Guy Tony. Alright, then click on apply. Then you're done with the network and host name. Then let's go ahead with this partitioning matter. Click this installation destination, and then select I will configure partitioning. Alright, and then click done. So let's just use standard partitioning. So if you can see here, here's our 20 gig that we just created during the setup of the VirtualBox. So let's just click this plus sign, and then to drop down, select swap. It's the partition that supports a virtual memory, right? So the data is written to the swap partition when there is not enough RAM to store the data on your system. Alright, so in Windows, it's like a paging file. Alright, so if you happen to be a Windows user, you should know that the virtual memory. So swap is something like that. Alright, so since our RAM is 1024, we multiply it by 2, so that makes it 2048. Yeah, you're very good in math. Alright, so just add mount point. We're gonna be creating is the boot partition. Alright, so boot partition, so this is partition where your operating system will be placed, okay, or will be This is the directory of your operating system. Okay, so my recommended capacity for that is just 2 gig. That is more than enough to store the centOS system file. Just 2 gig, right? And then the boot slash EFI, alright? So you need to define that. Boot slash EFI. So boot slash EFI, okay? Sorry, EFI. So this partition is recommended if your system is using a UEFI or UEFI firmware. So to know if your system has that UEFI firmware, you have to check the BIOS settings. So the desired capacity just 1024, and then you can create a home partition. That's optional, right? If you want to store user files on a separate folder or a separate partition, then you can create home partition. So the rest of the remaining storage, just put it in slash partition. Slash partition, this is your parent partition, where all of other folders will be stored here, like var, usr, tmp, etc. So that will be stored on your slash partition. Alright, so the desired capacity, the remaining, so just leave it blank. Alright, so we're good to go, and then click done. So we have to accept the changes, alright, and we're good to go. Just click begin installation. Then during the installation, it will require you to set your root password. Alright, so let's go ahead and set our password. Alright, so let's reboot and check it out. And by the way, guys, we're installing a centOS 7 minimal. Alright, so let's just sign in first. So here is our file system. Alright, so the SDA5, so that's our slash, right? 16 gig. And the SDA1, that's our boot partition. And the SDA3, that's our FE. Alright, so let's now check the IP address. So alright, see that IP address is of course set to static, which is reset to 0.5. And now let's check the host name. They want DGT. Alright guys, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this short video tutorial. Please click subscribe and hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for more of my video tutorials. Thank you and God bless.